Oh my God, you guys. So here we go. This is the week that we were waiting for. Crazy volatility, man. I was in my bed, literally like half awake, but I set my alarm at 8:25 just to watch the CPI drop, and then get out of bed as the CPI is coming out. Get ready, pre-market, all that stuff, man. I saw that CPI came out. We got the huge rip on a lower than expected CPI number. But guys, check this out. So I was seeing this break out and knowing that this was taking us, if you look on this 4 hour chart, or better yet, if we just flip over to one kind of view here, this is insane. So look at this candle, man. This is a huge candle, but pumping us out through, like, look at how perfect that is. In fact, I literally tweeted about it, guys. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and go over to Twitter, follow me on Twitter, because I tweeted about all this stuff as it was happening. I've been starting to use Twitter a little bit more. Guys, check this out. I said right at the intersection of those two trend lines, and I consider this quote unquote at risk. I said this 3 hours ago. You can see where the candle was. We must hold this today. We must hold above that trend line. Otherwise, this could be a turning point for the move back lower on a daily perspective. I said still situated short, not even close to out of the woods with FOMC tomorrow. So if you take a look at what I said yesterday, I said most expect, yes, futures to squeeze this week, which could be the gate to all-time highs. I said not me, expecting yet another Fed pivot. So that's tomorrow. So we'll wait and see if that's the case. I don't know what the heck's going to happen tomorrow, obviously, but I was making my predictions yesterday. I said Fed pivot back to hawkish, so loading short, low win rate for sure, because if we don't get what I'm expecting with what I'm situated for, then it will probably lose. But I said that the insane RR is just too good, predicting some sort of capitulation move here, and we saw a little bit of that today. You look at where that candle is now, much lower. If I flip over to this chart, you can see just giving all of that back testing the trend line, moving back lower. I suspect that we will continue to move lower, but we will just have to wait and see. But you see that this is a huge false breakout. I mean, that's just a monumental false breakout, which I think should give us a lot of energy to the downside. But again, FOMC is going to you know, throw a wrench in there, and we'll see kind of what happens with that. We could, if we pop back up through above 4100, that at that point I would be thinking probably back to the long side. But if you look at what I said yesterday, I said NQ futures probably sees the worst of it. Tesla particularly good short setup in my opinion. So I want to talk about the trading today, but let's take a look at Tesla, man. I said that yesterday. It was at about 172 per share yesterday. So again, on Twitter, just today, I tweeted this out, playing out perfectly so far. Tesla already down $14 a share since writing the tweet that I put out yesterday. NQ can move a lot lower. FOMC might be a catalyst. Ride this breakdown, guys. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. If you don't already, if you use Twitter. I don't know if people use Twitter, but on here, but guys, please go follow me on Twitter. Um, put a smile on my face. But anyway, so you can see on Tesla, I day traded this today. I made $600, guys. In terms of the day trading today, man, I could have made so much more. But I'm up close to 600. On the monitor tab, it just shows down 4 because of what I'm about to show you on Tesla, guys. Look at this, guys. I know you guys are thinking, what in the world? Like, Austin, what even is that? Yes, that's right. I have 20 put debit spreads on this that expire at the end of next week. Yes, you're seeing that correct. And I'm currently up on that position. And I think it's a little wonky because I'm not sure if the stock is showing up here. Maybe this is just the option, but I'm currently up $500. Yeah, I'm up $500 on that position. So I paid about 500 for it for 20 of these spreads. And then you can see I just have one extra on the long side here of the puts, long on the puts, if that makes sense. But they've doubled in value, more than doubled in value. At the low of the day, they were worth a lot more just cruising. But guys, look at this insane move on Tesla. So I'm gonna go ahead and show my trades. So you kind of have to, I have the day trading on it, but then I have that swing trading too. So just one more tweet here for you. Tesla probably good short setup in my opinion. I said that yesterday. 20 put spreads. Let's go. Anyway, so, it's still too early to say whether it's going to work out, but look at this, bouncing off of the lows here. It broke down yesterday, reclaimed, had this big spike on obviously that CPI move, but then as we started to break down, I was not only still short my options on it, but I decided to jump in on the short side on equity for a day trade as well. I didn't really think that this would become as big of a trade as it did. I shorted 100 shares and I shorted pretty small size because I was kind of catching the low of the move at the time, but it just instantly just started cruising lower. And I mean, there was these, big kind of squeeze bounces along the way, but I just decided to just basically just keep holding because of that longer term bias. You look at that daily chart and what's happening here is a real breakdown. So but I want to go over the day trades now, but let's go chronologically. So I actually, if you can believe it, I'm up 600 on the day, but I started down on the day, like, I think like almost 200, I think. So Apple, I think, was my first trade. Apple, this was very early on, pretty small size, but a tight stop. This is a trade that just I didn't really need to do, but this candle was looking weak, and then it basically is as simple as just pumping up and over these kind of highs here, and I just stopped out. It was a small loss, no reason to have this kind of it looked kind of like a double bottom. I don't know. Again, this is a 1 minute chart, but Apple turned out to not be such a good one to trade. So that was very early on. I was just looking for kind of that flush move if we were going to get it, but that didn't ultimately end up happening. I think my next trade then was on Amazon. So let's flip over to that. And you can see I'm actually green on Amazon, but initially I had two trades on this. So short 300 covered here. So that was a positive trade. It was breaking down. I was trying to hold for the larger move. So I got 100 out here, but then ultimately I had to stop out, kind of break even on the rest of the shares. So this was only like, $40 on 100 shares all in all. Then I jumped back into the short as it looked like it just wasn't really picking up here. It wasn't really able to break over that $95 level. Quick breakdown. I was up on that trade like, 40 cents, like at the most, and then it instantly started to reverse. As it was coming down here, I set my stop at 95.40, exactly 95.40. And you can see it literally came up, ticked me out. I mean, it went like 5 cents higher and then immediately reversed and has gone lower ever since. Way later in the day, after my Tesla short, after all that, I did jump in short again. This was 300 shares each of these times. Here I just jumped in with 100 because again, this was way later on, pretty much just done trading. But what I was looking at was that Nasdaq. It was hanging out right in here, and I was like, we are gonna move lower. We're gonna come back. We're gonna retest the breakout point. I was looking for that false breakdown. I'd already, again, when I saw that initial CPI move, I was like, this is a big asterisk. I really think that there's really good potential for this breakout to not hold up. So anyway, with that whole bias, just looking at the state of things here, just really thinking we're going to crumble back down. So I jumped in for 100 shares. I knew that this was kind of a questionable entry. I set my stop like at 80 or something. It came very close to stopping me out. Again, only 100 shares. But then we got that breakdown and I just, 25, 25, 25. I mean, this is really small size, but guys, today is, I just, oh man, as good as I am hammering it today, like day trading up $600, my Tesla short, rocking and rolling, like, dude, I am just printing right now. My account is just printing, not to mention, if you guys know, I'm long in precious metals. Those are, up today as well. So my account is doing really well today, but I can't help but think that I should have hammered things harder. Like Tesla, I just had this gut feeling because what I didn't talk about is on the open. I was literally watching this. In fact, I was watching this pre-market. I went to good till cancel extended. I was on 300 and I put an order to sell 300 at like 176 or 175.95 or I think it was 175 and 95 cents. I put an order and I canceled it. I mean, 300 shares, that's pretty bold. That's, that's a big size. But man, look at that move. I mean, I was watching this pre-market and it was just so blatantly obvious that this thing was weak because the Nasdaq on that initial push, you can see initial spike, and then it kind of kept pushing higher here, up until the open. And so in that whole period, Tesla was just kind of struggling to get going. Meanwhile, stocks like Amazon, if you look at like Amazon pre-market, was like, gradually moving higher on the open. Other stocks were moving up. Tesla was moving sideways. It's been weak. It just looked bearish. I felt the price action. So anyway, this is all just to say like I wanted it short, but at no point here did I initiate a short. Again, right here, I was looking at it. I was like, oh man, I want to take this short. Why didn't I? I don't know what to tell you. This double bottom had me a little scared. Three strong candles, I thought, but it was so obvious, and I should have. These are the setups that when it's so obvious and so crystal clear, and your confidence is so high, you gotta hammer it. And I could have hammered this thing. I could have hammered this thing for 400 shares, right? And just soaked this move, man. And I mean, man, I could be looking at like a $10,000 day. Speaking of $10,000, if this play does work out, I mean, you can see this is a 140 put. If we get Tesla down to 135, which I know sounds ridiculous, but if we get it down to 135, 140, 135, that max profit, well, technically there's infinite profit because I have one extra put. But if you just look at the spreads, 20 debit spreads there, uh, that will be a $10,000 gain on on those. So that's a big if, but I'm gonna hold through FOMC tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we can just get a complete just black swan breakdown, and I think we might get it. But right now I'm in the profit. I may decide to take a little bit of profit, but the problem is that they're so far out of the money that there's just not much profit to be had right now. I could sell one of these and make it 2020 just to spreads and take, get $118 back, but I'm just not sure if it's worth because the risk to reward is just so insane that I feel like it's worth holding. And we just had this really clear breakdown. I think this thing might not be done. I think this thing might not be done. So anyway, guys, that's gonna be it. But I just wanted to come on here and say, you know, that just go give the recap and talk about what's going on and expose my insane short position on Tesla. I also have a QQQ put, but this thing is so far out of the money, it's probably dead. But if we get that black swan again tomorrow, maybe it'll come back from the grave. Um, but we'll see what happens, man. 20 spreads. Let's go. Come on, we're not done yet. We need this thing a lot lower, but anyway, I put this out on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter, and yeah, guys, if you appreciate the recaps, I appreciate you all, and leave a like, subscribe. Da 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 da. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited. All right, I got an exam tomorrow morning though. That's my last exam. Then I'm completely done with college, and then we'll see what happens. So anyway, all right, that's it, guys. See ya.